Without this amendment, Minnesota could have gay marriage imposed on us.
Well, she insists that she is running for president of the United States, but not to be anyone's judge. But that wasn't always the case. As Congresswoman Michele Bachmann surges ahead in the polls, her record of intolerance, well, it's getting a closer look. Bachmann now finds herself within striking distance of frontrunner Mitt Romney, gaining double digits in New Hampshire just over the last few months. Part of Bachmann's appeal is her right-wing social agenda, and it's catching fire. She's called same-sex marriage probably the biggest issue that will impact our state and our nation in the last at least 30 years, she said. A recent Washington Post article details just how far Bachmann will go to make her views known. A gay Minnesota state senator said Bachmann would pray over his empty desk and warned him that promoting gay rights would lure kids into trying homosexuality out. And Bachmann's views are in lockstep with the views of her key strategist and husband, Dr. Marcus Bachmann. The mental health clinic Dr. Bachmann runs reportedly practices reparative therapy aimed at converting homosexuals into heterosexuals. And in case you missed it, here's what Dr. Bachmann told a talk radio program just last year.
We have to understand barbarians need to be educated. They need to be disciplined. And just because someone feels it or thinks it doesn't mean that we're supposed to go down that road. That's what's called the sinful nature.
Barbarians. Joining me now is Michelle Goldberg. She's a senior contributing writer at the Daily Beast and author of Kingdom Coming, The Rise of Christian Nationalism, and Mike Rogers, managing editor of rawstory.com. Great to have both of you with us tonight. Michelle, are there things that we don't know about Michele Bachmann that we're going to find out?
I think that we are slowly finding out just how extreme both of them are and kind of how rooted they are in a fundamentalist subculture that is, although probably not a minority among the Republican Party, is certainly pretty foreign to much of the United States. You know, so some of this really vitriolic language that they've used about gay people, you know, Michele Bachmann in one of her speeches in 2006 talked about Melissa Etheridge's breast cancer as perhaps an opportunity for her to rethink her sexuality and, you know, kind of turn towards spiritual things. So they've, you know, for many, many years, Michele Bachmann has built her career on gay bashing, basically, and particularly on opposition to gay marriage.
Do you think she'll continue on this path now that she's getting on a higher level of visibility and her name recognition continues to grow?
Well, I think that she has nothing to gain by stressing that aspect of her ideology on the public stage. I think there's absolutely no doubt that if, God forbid, she did become president of the United States, she would pursue that agenda vigorously.
Yeah. Mike Rogers, you barbarian?
So they say. So they say.
What do you make of this, Dr. Marcus Bachmann? I mean, can he continue to play such a key role in her campaign with this kind of conversation taking place? What do you think?
Well, I don't think he will, and I think it's going to come back to bite him for a number of reasons. Of course, his therapy center receives hundreds of thousands of dollars in public funding from Medicare. So right there you have a disconnect between the candidate who doesn't believe in all of this, and then here's her husband who's accepting all of this public money to perform what he would call, or folks would call, ex-gay therapy, which of course is very dangerous to individuals. And he acknowledges in that audio that we don't act on these things. We don't have to go on that road. So who is we, Dr. Bachmann? And that's what I'd like to ask him and go up to him personally and say, what are you talking about, we?
Mike, is this going to create a problem for the Republican Party? I mean, it would seem to me that other candidates who are in competition to get the nomination, seeing the surge that Bachmann is having, may consider coming out talking against her position, which is so radical and against the mainstream. Would this be a problem for the Republicans?
I think it will be. I think we just saw in New York State a Republican state Senate hand marriage equality to the entire state. 19 million more people now eligible to get married, courtesy of the Republican Party who let that vote happen. So I think that she is so out of step with the rest of the Republican Party, even coming to grips with the fact that this progress has been made so successfully in such a short amount of time, that she will find herself in a position where she'll be turning off more voters than she'll be gaining.
Here's the dangerous thing about Michele Bachmann, in my opinion. When during the debate, I mean, she talked about, Obamacare is what she called it, said that she would repeal it, you could take it to the bank, it was going to happen. She made that very clear. How do we know, Mike, how do we know that she doesn't feel this way about an anti-gay agenda?
Well, one of the things that she has been very careful to do is talk about state by state and that it's up to each state. She probably knows that she'll never be able to pass a constitutional amendment. That scares her, so she'll keep working that angle. But at the same time, she will go after that agenda and then have her husband become a wealthy man off of it. So these contradictions will keep coming up for her, and I think that it's going to cause her a lot of problems.
Michelle Goldberg, Michelle Obama was criticized by some for statements while campaigning for her husband. I mean, is Marcus Bachmann going to get the same treatment?
To be honest, I think he deserves in certain ways more of that treatment than Michelle Obama does, because one thing that Michelle Bachmann has said is that she believes in a fundamentalist model of marriage. She believes that he is the head of the family and she has to be submissive to him. So his views actually have even more of a bearing on the kind of president she would be than other candidates' spouses do.
I think that other candidates are going to be more mainstream. I mean, I think this is going to be a problem for Mitt Romney.
Yeah, but she's in a difficult position because, while Mike is certainly right that we had Republicans here in New York who fought for marriage equality, on the whole, the Republican Party, especially in the red states, is dominated by extreme social conservatives. So anybody who wants to attack Michelle Bachmann from the right is going to have a very difficult time in a party whose philosophy is no enemies to the right.
I'll be shocked if she doesn't win Iowa. I mean, I believe that she is going to win Iowa. Michelle Goldberg, Mike Rogers, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much.